Welcome to the city of Tokyo. This is a new era in Only in Japan Go. I started off with an iPhone 17 Plus, I think was what it was called, in 2017 when mobile live streaming was brand new. And I moved on to the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 Pro. I think that's when they went Pro. Then the iPhone 14 Pro for the last 3 years. It got pretty spotty at the end as the phone got older and older. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I present you with the iPhone 17 Pro, a phone that I did not want to get, but it just seems like it's the best one to get the job done. Or will it? In this episode, we'll talk about this. I want to talk about my experience getting this phone. It was deja vu. We almost had another iPhone 13 Pro, and if you've been following this channel, you can figure this out. And for those of you that like this channel or mobile live streaming, I want to talk about where it came from and where it's going and where we are right now. It's actually kind of really interesting. You should be able to tell a difference in the wideness of it. I'm a little bit wider than the iPhone 14 Pro. The front camera is supposed to be improved. I don't think it was that much improved, other than they said that there's a square sensor which has more megapixels, but for a 16:9 image, which is what video is, I don't know if it's any more megapixels. It's just maybe the quality of the sensor could be improved, low light could be improved, but it's more of a gimmick for vertical and horizontal shooting using the same sensor. It's actually kind of cool for everyday, like, common people use. For live streamer use like what I do, it's not such a useful thing because it doesn't really matter. And I got this phone specifically for live streaming. You can see there's a vending machine behind me. We're going to do a test with the zoom lens here to see if we can see if the Prism Studio Live, which is the app that I use for mobile live streaming, actually works. And I've already seen a big update. After so many months and years of using this app, I think it's been 3 years, they finally put in an audio meter. So now I know 100% that an audio microphone is connected. I'll show you, maybe I can show you with my other phone to show you it. So I got a DJI Mic Mini connected in by a USB-C cable, a USB-C connection, and it works just fine. Finally, it tells me the kilobits per second and the frames per second all listed on the screen. It's an amazing advancement from mobile live streaming right here on the screen. This is crazy. As the weather here is really chilled out a little bit. The humidity is completely gone. There's a breeze in here. It's about 25 degrees Celsius, so it's warm. You can wear shorts, but most people have now pants if you're interested in the weather here. All right, now let's just go ahead and try this out. All right, the biggest improvement that I noticed, and this is going to be huge for the channel, is there's like a 5G Plus. And I checked out, and this is an area where I never got really good service. It was next to this vending machine. And this is what I got here. So this is important. I always do a speed check. Almost 1 gigabit per second, 897. I think I got up to 900 on some of the other tests here on the street. But the most important data point is the one on the right side. Because for a live stream, download doesn't matter. It's all about the upload. And this is where I would usually get like 2 to 5 and the stream would cancel out. With the new modems on this and the ability to get a faster 5G because of an upgrade on the phone, maybe because of the modem, I can get 43.6 megabits per second. You can see it's a huge discrepancy, but I could do 4K live streams very easily with this. So this is a big improvement. I need at least 4.5 megabits per second, and I don't often get that in Tokyo, which is crazy. Even though the download could be like 100 or 200 or 1 gigabit per second download, if the upload speed is less than 5, I would often get a very spotty live stream. This app, and the reason why I use this app is because it uses HEVC encoding, which is about half the amount of bandwidth that the YouTube app requires. So if you're live streaming mobily by YouTube app, you need twice the amount of bandwidth. So you need about an 8 to 9 megabits per second in order to get a full HD size stream. But actually, the YouTube app doesn't even do full HD live streams. They do 720p, and this app allows HD streams, which we've been live streaming HD for about a year and a half now, which is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. 1080p for a live stream on the street is pretty impressive. But now that you're seeing we are getting this kind of a signal, I think we're gonna have less issues walking around, and we're gonna have more ability to add in widgets and music and people calling in. I can see now this phone in particular has opened it up. I did not get the orange one. Are you crazy? Hold on a second. I'm not gonna get an orange phone. That's the phone that no one's gonna wanna buy in 2 years, right? Or 3 years. That's the phone that's like, oh, I've got a new iPhone. So they pick one color that all the influencers are gonna be talking about. Does the iPhone, all right, now we're getting into questions that are really important, okay? I've got my old phone here, so you can see yourself. So I wanted to show you, here's the rig that I got here. So you can see on the side, that's the DJI Mini right there, the mic Mini. It's connected in with the USB-C, so that gives me the audio. But because of the lightning port, I was having all sorts of trouble with that, but not anymore. And now I'm gonna show you on the other side, turn it around here. And now you can see yourself. So as you can see, I got the darkest one that was available. Hold on a second. How do I get this in the middle here? I am really, really worried about the scratches. I really am. Because this thing here is made of metal, the clasp, and it looks like I need some kind of a protector, so I'm gonna have to get it. Yeah, it's the deep blue. It looked more black. I would have gotten the gray or the black one, but they didn't have it available, which is I don't understand why. I bet you this is something maybe they release at Christmas. I don't know. All right, before we get too deep into my experience buying it, and I recommend that you never, ever, ever, ever pre-order an iPhone in Japan, ever. And I'm gonna tell you why, but first let's try out the cameras here. All right, you're looking at the front-facing camera. So this is me holding the camera typically where I would in a live stream. So this is what it looks like walking around with the camera. You can see it's already wider, right? You can see it's pretty wide. I don't even know if the stabilization is on, but the camera has a pretty good stabilization as it is. All right, let's turn it around here. All right, so I've got the old, Prism has the old 0.5, 1, and 2. It hasn't upgraded to what I got in the iPhone app. I'm gonna go across the street. We're gonna do this right. So I got this phone yesterday, and I looked at the camera app, and it had a 0.5, 1, 2, 4, and 8. I said, 8? That's gotta be like digital, optical or something. But it was actually, if it was a digital one, it's actually really good. So I could not read the numbers of my Blu-ray player, which is on my cabinet above. So I turned it around, and from a distance of about 4 meters, 3.5 meters, I could use that zoom in low light, and I could read the numbers on the back of the Blu-ray player, which is really hard to do even when you're standing right in front of it. All right, let's turn it around here and check out these cameras. I've been really impressed with it so far. We're gonna look at this vending machine across the street. I'm here for a reason. All right, this is the 210. Okay, already I know that you can see it's the stabilization in the app is off for a reason. I'll talk about it in a second. Let's zoom in. All right, that's as far as it'll go. So even on the app, you can see the micro jitters. I'll pull it back, it's getting a little, but that's really impressive. That's really impressive. So this is 2x zoom, and let's see if I can, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, whoa, I keep going, 11, 14, sorry, just hanging in there a little bit. That's 30 times zoom. Sorry, I don't want to ruin anyone's eyes. So it goes into a 30 times digital zoom and about an 8. Around 8, you start to lose the quality, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, it is really shaky. I think the in the app there is a stabilization with the app as well. The gimbal does not get rid of micro jitters, so I'm holding it. But that's pretty impressive. DFKSGeovicanickel. I'm really sorry. $5. Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry for butchering that. This is kind of fun. All right, I'm gonna cross the street here. There's no traffic. So let's get a little bit closer here. So this is one. That's one, and here's double. And there's no button for the 4x zoom. So this is usable. This is usable. And having these different kinds of angles really adds to the experience. So when you are with me, like I'm thinking about this because whenever we go live, I feel like I'm bringing you with me on a trip throughout Japan. I'm bringing you with me on some sort of adventure. And if you don't have the hardware for it, well, we did before, but as the hardware gets better, it's more immersive. Yeah, I can already see that we're going to get, it's not a widget yet. We're already going to get the picture-in-picture. And for mobile live streaming, this is pretty incredible. Imagine me, like, I don't want to be my face in the shot all the time, but imagine if there's just a little bit of me here, but you're getting the entire view of Japan on the other side. You're getting Japan here, and then there's a little me here, and you can see me talking, but you're getting the entire experience of Japan. That's kind of a big deal, I think. It makes it more dynamic when you're watching it. I think it makes it more interesting to have something taking place. You know, if it's a static shot like this, but you see me talking, then you're being more active with the video, and I think Prism will have that in there real soon. I think that'll be there. Look, I did not want to buy this. First of all, I didn't want to buy it right away. I always usually will wait a couple of weeks, but because I could not really charge the phone, I had to do it all wirelessly, and there was like, I needed sensor cleaning, and the cameras were a little bit funky going zoom. I said, all right, I'm going to pre-order it this time. I said, they can't be doing it the same way that they did it in the iPhone 13 Pro. My phone was stolen out of my mailbox 4 years ago when the iPhone 13 Pro came out. I ordered it. This is during the pandemic, and Apple did something weird. I don't like any company that announces a product and they don't have it on the shelves to sell it. When Apple announces a product, they should have it. And they used to do it like that. These will be on sale at our store at 5 p.m. They're on sale now. That's what they should say. They're on sale next Friday. Why would you do the pre-orders? Don't announce a product that has not been released yet, because it's just such a headache. So in Japan, I wasn't the only one, and I think this has to do with a lot of other people around the world. So I got on there just like everybody else. By the way, Apple Japan is a different company than Apple USA. It's Apple Kabushiki Gaisha Apple Japan, I believe, and Apple Japan has its own CEO. I just want to put that clear. So Japan has sort of different rules than the rest of Apple, and they have different pricing schemes. And I don't know if the other regional Apples are the same, but I guess there's like an Apple in Ireland, which has to do with an international area, and then there's an Apple in the United States, and then there's an Apple in Japan. So they do things differently here. But the pricing here in Japan, yeah, you probably, if you're going to be buying an iPhone in Japan, you used to be able to get a cheaper iPhone by buying it here, but not anymore. They price it as though the exchange rate's like 158 to the dollar, I believe. And this phone with the 1 terabyte of space, which I need because I use this for work, was 250,000 yen, which is like 1 month's salary for people. It never used to be like that, but they found a way to upgrade it and make it like you would pay. It basically feels like 1 month. But with the exchange rate, if you get US dollars, it pretty much feels like about $1,700 for it, which is probably close to what it is. But Apple Japan is definitely charging a premium. They're charging more than it is in the United States. Apple's cameras, hang on. What are you confused about, Gazumi? I'm here to help you out. So Apple 13 was stolen. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. So my Apple 13 was stolen out of my mailbox. And it was because when I ordered it, their terms of service said that you had to sign for it. And I checked this through archives.org because they take snapshots of the terms of services. Apple changed the terms of service. I had a legal case. I'm not gonna sue Apple. And they use something called JP Logistics, which is Japan Post, not UPS, not like FedEx, not a courier deliverer, but the company that does all the mail. It's like hiring United States Postal Service to deliver iPhones. So JP Logistics, which is a special company that does packages, this is such a mess. They're the ones who they said that the iPhone was coming between, like, I don't know, let me just say, for example, I don't remember the exact dates, September 26th and October 1st, let's just say. So I thought it was coming between, so I was in Nagano at that time. And then they suddenly, on like 3 days before, said your iPhone has been sent, it's on the way. So I'm not even there to pick it up. Okay, so obviously for a $2,000 phone, you've got to sign for it and they have to put it into your hand, right? No, there are security boxes in my apartment that aren't always secure. You can get into them, or the mail carrier can make a mistake and enter in the wrong apartment number. There's so many things that could go wrong. And they put improperly numbered receipt in my mailbox for box number 1 and said the iPhone's in there, and it was staying there. It had been in the box for 2 days. I could not change the date. I could not say don't deliver it. I could not decide when the iPhone would be delivered. They use JP Logistics. There is no support. It's an automatic thing. And so when I got home, I went to the locker, I opened it up, nothing inside. I called the post office. The post office sent a detective, some old gentleman, Nakamura-san, I think his name was. He came in, he took it very seriously. Never really heard from the guy again. I contacted Japan Post, and they said that they were handling it internally and investigating. So what do? Do you wait? So I contacted Apple, and I let them know, and they said, okay, we're gonna contact the post office on your behalf. And then Apple and the post office were working to try to find my iPhone, these two companies. Then after about 2 weeks, Apple says, this is an interesting story. Apple tells me, Apple Japan says that Apple JP will handle this, but on our side, we consider this transaction closed because we gave to JP Post, and it's up to JP Post to deliver it to you. So on our side, Apple Japan, case is closed. And if you have any problems, contact us. So I got to deal with Apple Japan. All right, that's when I went to the police. That was my mistake. I should have went to the police right away. And the police told me, all right, well, there's security cameras in your building. Let's go check that. Guess what? The security cameras, after 2 weeks, they're erased. And it was 2 weeks and 1 day when the police finally got the access from our landlord to check the security cameras. There was no more security footage. So I went to the police. We filed a report. 3 weeks later, because it was the Koban that was doing the check, I had to go to the police department. I wasted about 3 hours of my time. The police officer is very nice. Everyone's really nice, all right? It's not their fault. We're just trying to where is this iPhone? Here's the issue. This is why you never ever pre-order a phone. Never ever pre-order the phone, because they're trying to get too many phones out to too many people that pre-ordered it. There is no way for you, number one, to get your serial number for that phone. So you can't use Apple Care if it's stolen. You can't use the police to track it because you don't have a serial number. I got the serial number because I physically have the phone. You cannot activate your Apple Care, even if you ordered it and paid for it, because you don't have the serial number for the phone to activate it. And without the serial number, the police can't track your phone. So don't pre-order your phones, because you don't know what delivery service they're using, because Apple Japan, and this is the problem of Apple Japan, uses JP Logistics, a company that you cannot communicate with. There's no customer service. You cannot change the date or the time of delivery, and you do not need to sign for it. They will put it into a locker if your apartment has that, and somebody can steal it out of the locker. And then it becomes your problem, not their problem. They sold the phone. But if you wait 3 weeks, they don't use JP Logistics anymore, and you probably get your phone. So I thought, of course, Apple has changed their ways. They assured me, I don't even think the Apple employees that are at the security desk understand what was happening. They assured me that you have to sign for it. Then they said that no, in our terms of service, you don't have to sign for it. I went to archives.org, and this is going back to 4 years ago. I went to archives.org and I saw that they had changed their terms of service to saying that you needed to show proof, to you don't need to show proof because of the pandemic, to, you know, in order to protect our workers, they can leave it behind or leave it at your door or whatever. It's like, holy crap, they can do that? That's in their terms of service. But they changed it. From the time I pre-ordered the phone to the time that they delivered it, they altered the terms of service. It really pissed me off. What are you gonna do, fight Apple? You're not gonna fight Apple. I almost took them to small claims court. You can do that up to 600,000 yen or about $4,000. You can go to a small claims court. Michael's here. Check in your live stream. Happy that I made it. Maybe time to switch to Samsung. Maybe. I don't want to complain too much because this is an Apple, and I saw the reviews from Mr. Who's the Boss and Marquise Brownlee and everybody else. And look, for video, they're pretty close. But the iPhone, because I've got an, you know, my wife's got an iPhone, my family's got an iPhone in the U.S. It's just convenient, and there's not much of a difference in the camera in order to justify it. But the service for Apple it's so bad compared to 10 years ago when you could walk into an Apple store and get service. Now you need a reservation for everything. Everything. When I changed the battery to my iPhone 14 Pro about 4 months ago, I said, can you maybe clean it off the sensor? He goes, no, you're gonna have to replace it. We don't do that service anymore. I said, you guys used to clean the sensors when I first got the iPhone. I first changed the battery like on the 11 Pro. It says, can't you just, you know, do a little sweep because you're in there, you know? Oh no, we can't do that. It's gonna cost you $500. That's Apple of 2025. So this probably is my last iPhone. It probably is. However, we got a pretty good front lens. They do make good phones. So does Samsung, but they are making pretty good phones. iOS 26 is also a huge mess. I do not doubt it. I have never, ever upgraded to the first version of an iOS. I've got no choice here because this is a new phone. This is the first version of iOS 26. It's not too bad, but always wait like 3 weeks to a month after a massive change, and I always wait before I upgrade. I never do it automatically because I know that there's going to be bugs, and we've already had too many instances of phones bricking because of upgrades. I've had my Sony cameras. I've heard of Sony cameras bricking because of upgrading too early. We all want to get that upgrade so early. Patience. Never pre-order a phone in that period where everyone's rushing to get one. It's just not worth it. You don't need it that bad where you can't wait 2 weeks. Now, if I ordered this phone in 2 weeks from now, JP Logistics is out because they're just getting rid of that bottleneck. It would have been sent by Kuroneko, Takubin, which would have the guy come right to my door, and I'd be able to get a delivery number and change the way I want it delivered to me. I would sign for it. But this is a $2,000 camera. I think it might be illegal what they're doing. I think this is so expensive that I don't think they can put it in the takuhai box. They call them takuhai boxes. These are boxes in your apartment that are supposed to be locked, and you can push a number to open it up and get it out. I don't want it in there. So I think it might be illegal. They didn't even give me the choice, and that's the issue, right? When you pre-order phones, you are at the mercy of the terms of service of Apple Japan, and Apple Japan's terms of services are not in your favor. If something goes wrong, you are in trouble. It's on you. Once Apple delivers the phone or gives it to Japan, JP Logistics, which is a mess of a company, they didn't even know who the delivery guy was that delivered the iPhone to me. Probably gangsters. Probably a pallet of iPhones that the gangsters picked up and took it, you know? That's probably, the officer sort of insinuated that this sort of happens, this kind of stuff. They told me to kind of move on, and I'm not somebody who moves on quickly because I like to see things through to the end, but could have used a P.O. box to deliver the phone to. Japan doesn't really have P.O. boxes. It's not the same system as the U.S. There's a couple of big post offices that have it, but the post offices around Japan don't have P.O. boxes. You can use convenience stores. That's a service that came in just a couple of years ago. Japan doesn't have P.O. boxes. You can, but there's a waiting list, and I asked in Ginza, and they go, you're probably never going to get one. So I gave up on P.O. boxes. And I know there's a lot of people that want to send stuff to me. Bless you. I'm really, really grateful. But according to the authorities that I talked to about this, they said there are risks to me that if somebody were to send me something that was illegal, I would be the one that gets in trouble. So if there was a creator that you did not like and you send him something illegal, they would get in deep trouble. If the authorities, customs, found out about it and you received it, you could say, oh, I didn't know, but they'll probably get off, but it's going to create a lot of trouble. So it's not really a good idea for sending things internationally. Domestically, it makes a lot of sense to give a P.O. box for people to send me stuff, but there's a little bit of risk. And the authorities told me, but you can get a P.O. box if you want, but you're gonna have to wait like 3 to 4 years. All right, Malcolm writes in a good thing here. Apple Store in Ginza will open this Friday. Are you going? No, I'm not going. I don't care. Apple Store is so over. There was an era where like, wow, Apple Store, I don't care. I don't need to go into the store. There's a Samsung store in Harajuku. I think it's the only one because it's a Korean company. I don't think that I wish more Japanese got into Samsung because then the infrastructure for Android would be a lot bigger, but a lot of people are just in the Apple vein of things. Pre-ordering the phone. All right, I want to go back to that where I got confused. So I pre-ordered the phone, the 17 Pro. I was able to pick up the 14 Pro at the Ginza store. And when I got on at the time, which was like 9 p.m. on that Friday, so I was on there at like 8:55, 10 minutes, nobody could access it. So already Apple Japan failed with the bandwidth or whatever. Nobody could get in to pre-order it if you came at that exact time. And you were eventually thrown into a queue after 5 minutes of trying. Then they put you into this queue that says, please wait. Then when you waited, you had a time on the screen. It goes, okay, you could pick up your phone on the 19th at Ginza, and they give you the times. You pick the time, you push next, and then it says, oh, sorry, your time has been taken. No longer can you reserve your phone at that time. Please go to the delivery and add in your address and we'll deliver it to you. So I got right out of that and I went right back in and I got it again and they said, oh, you can pick up your phone at Ginza. And it had the same time. So why was it the time was available before? Why wasn't I able to get the phone at Ginza at that time before? Why did you automatically go to JP Logistics? And then I did it again, and it did it again, and it made sure that the only option was not to pick it up at the Apple Ginza store, but to go to have it delivered by JP Logistics. And when I found out it was JP Logistics, which was 2 days ago, which suddenly they said, we're sending your iPhone 3 days early, which might be a good thing for most people, but if you're not there to pick it up, that's hell. You got a $2,000 piece of machinery coming and nobody's there to pick it up. It's gonna be sitting somewhere for a long time without anybody, and that's not what I wanted. You have no say in the way it's delivered. Again, that's why please avoid pre-ordering Apple products in Japan. This maybe is only in Japan issue. Don't pre-order Apple products in Japan. They're going to use JP Logistics. You cannot choose the time, and it's not insured. That's another thing. After the 13 Pro, the post office, who was at fault, they were at fault. Either they didn't close the box, they didn't lock the box, they could not prove it. They couldn't prove that they put anything in the box. They have insurance. The police told me they have insurance. They chose not to use it. They chose to save face and to ignore it because they didn't want the black eye to the post office. They didn't want to be embarrassed. So they said, no, it wasn't our guy. We are in the clear. Good luck. And a single person can't take on a big agency, and you're just going to waste time and money, blood, sweat. It's not worth it. When that was about what was that, about $1,400 US? It's just not worth it. It's like the amount of time I would lose would be of work, even though it's a principle of it, would be 3 times that. Even if I went to small claims court, the principle of it, and I like to stand on the principle and stuff, there's a time where you have to cut your losses. And it took a year before Amex, and I bought it on an Amex card, said, oh, you have a police report. Well, duh, I've been talking with Amex for a year. And they eventually reimbursed me for the phone, and I was able to get the next one a year later. So it was a tough year. It was a tough year. But even though you're in the right, sometimes just letting it go is the best option, because you're not gonna get what you want. You're just gonna end up wasting a lot of time and money, and you're gonna be going in the wrong direction for everything else. You have to have enough brains to know when to let it go. And that 13 Pro, I don't know if they're ever... The police had to send a written letter to Apple's lawyers to get the serial number, and to this day, I checked in 6 months after and they still hadn't gotten a response from Apple Japan. To this day, I don't think that we're ever gonna get a serial number, because it never existed. That phone never existed. I don't think that JP Post ever had a phone. I think they delivered air. They did the measures to deliver it, but they never did. Nobody can confirm it. That's why you put it in somebody's hand. You cannot confirm it. Gaussen writes in here, congrats on the new phone. As you buy a vending machine, please have a coffee on me. Well, thank you very much. I think I will. Gaussen, and for everybody else, this is the time where we get back into the positive side of things. I'm gonna read the live chat here. I want to see what you guys have to say later on. But I'm not somebody who wants to be completely negative here. But it's a hard thing. And hopefully, I never have to talk about it again. These are Daido machines. This one has Kumamon on it. The Sapporo beer teamed up with Poca, and I believe Sapporo Beverages has their own drinks, and Keaton has their own drinks. But I don't know, this is really appetizing to me. There's the corn, Jaga Imo soup, potato soup and corn soup. Let's see here. Oh, here's a Coke machine. The red ones usually have interesting ones. This coffee has been here in Japan. It's unchanged for decades. The Emerald Mountain Blend. I think a lot of you know that, because many of you have been here for this one. This is interesting. And then you get Dr. Pepper only in Tokyo. I don't really see this outside of Tokyo or Kanto. Dr. Pepper's in the Tokyo machines. I don't know why. I really don't know why. All right, I'm just gonna go with a green tea here. This is funny. So this is a 280 milliliter for 140 yen. And over here, same tea, 525 milliliters for 30 yen more. And this is a deep green tea, which is the same price. So I'll probably let's go with the deep green tea, because I think I went off the deep end with this whole live stream. So this is an old school reader. There we go. $30 back. And I'm talking like Jerry Seinfeld. That is wide. Look how wide it is. I'm holding the tea out in front. I think it's just because it's using the full sensor, maybe. It looks a lot wider, doesn't it? Deep green tea. All right, let's do this. Thanks, guys, for the super chats. I'm really grateful. I like to come to this shop because I know I've talked to the owner before. It's in an old Showa era building, and I know when you do get the vending machines, he makes a little bit of money. So that's support my local small business, even if it's buying a 10 yen from a vending machine. All right, itadakimasu. Deep. I really can taste the depth of this tea. Thanks for that, guys. It's our little celebration. But it's a new era for this channel. I think we have a stronger modem. We have a little bit better front camera, which seems a little bit wider and clearer. We have a better zoom lens. The stabilization on the front lens looks really good. So if I'm walking, you can see it looks pretty good. I'll see if I can get somebody else. Maybe we can have 2 people and see how that works out. But eventually I want to add in more dynamics to live streams. And I think that this, with the dual camera and a lot of other stuff, it really opens up to a lot of things. MXP 2000, staying at Kabukicho in November. Any suggestions for late night eats after 11 p.m.? Mahalo. I would refer you to a video on my main channel called Shinjuku Night Restaurant Tour, I think it's called. Shinjuku Restaurant Night Tour. Check that out. I put in a couple of places, but there were a couple. The thing is, I don't know Kabukicho so well anymore. It's changed a lot. It's a little bit more touristy and a lot safer, which is a good thing. But there were a couple of ramen places that are very famous. One of them wasn't there the last time I went. So, I don't know. There's a Wagyu, a yakiniku restaurant, which I thought was really good in the episode that I showed about, and we walked around Kabukicho for most of it. And that other restaurant, a little touristy, but I thought it was really good because you could eat a lot of stuff, including the Edo Mai sushi, the Edo period sushi, which is bigger and has a little bit more rice vinegar in it. But it's quite good. You can get a lot of unagi. They had everything on the menu there. Green tea in beer, which is interesting. So all of that's in the Shinjuku Restaurant Night Tour. Thank you, Ario. Yeah, check that out there on the main channel. Yes, visually looking pretty clear and nice. You could even see. So I like to say I didn't shave, so you could see more of the contrast. To see the whiskers. Can you see? It's not bad. Okay. It's picking up a lot. Apple said the screen was 3 times better, but with the deep tests isn't. Drop test is. I hope I never drop my iPhone 14 Pro. So I don't know if I'm gonna get Apple Care with this. I'll shave tonight. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. All right, just a quick programming note, because I gotta end this, I gotta get back. Kanai, Leo, and I are filming a main channel family episode like we did last year when we went to West Tokyo. But instead of Tokyo, we're going to another place that 99.9% of tourists never go to, Akita Prefecture. So Leo, Kanai, and I are going to Akita for three nights to film a main channel episode. I've got a cameraman coming with me, and I'll be live streaming as well. So you guys are coming on October 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So 4 days, 3 nights we'll be gone. And that's pretty exciting stuff. I was happy to go to Greg. Oh, I'll have to do another live stream. I went to Greg Lamb, Life Where I'm From. You guys know the channel? Great channel. Great guy. He's been working his butt off on renovating, not renovating, but building his own guest house in Nikko, which is one of the great day trips, great close trips from location. He has outdone himself. He puts so much effort and detail into his video editing, his stories. He did the exact same thing with his guest house. Kanai and I left there so impressed. Leo did not want to come home. His guest house is more comfortable than our house. That's how Greg is just, he's such an amazing person. He's the attention to detail. I cannot recommend enough if you're going to Nikko to stay at his guest house. And he's going to open it up in a couple of weeks. So get in touch with him. I've got a Patreon, of course, I got to say that, but he's got one too. And if you stay in touch with him, all the accommodations in Nikko for autumn are booked, but his is not on the market yet. So for those that are watching, when he puts it on the market, you might be able to swing an accommodation really and be one of the first people in a brand new place. Probably going on the market in about 2 weeks. I think he's doing the permits when I was there, but it is very, very nice place. It's fun. It's fun. And the one we had, it had an amazing bathtub in there. It's got a loft. It's got a tatami area with a full kitchen to cook, a parking spot for the rent-a-car. It was great. We had one night. I didn't see much except for Kagon Falls on the live stream. I went there just to support Greg and to try out his guest house, and it was really, really inspirational to see the work that he put into it. So I don't think I have any pictures from there on this new phone. It's only on the old phone. But you can see the inserts. You tell me if this comes out clear. That's our family photo from Leo's birthday in March. Just testing out to see if the overlays work. That's the only photo I have on my thing. It's new. I never import all the crap from my old phone onto the new phone. I start with a new blank slate. No photos, no apps, and I download the ones I needed to get rid of everything that I didn't need. Always start from scratch. Take a little time and you get to know the phone when you're adding stuff, but it's, you know, you gotta get some work done too. All right, there you go. Blue skies. Dynamic range, pretty good. It's pretty good. I would love to build a guest house up in Tohoku, but I think Miyazaki would be more my cup of tea because they got the Pacific Ocean. I'm gonna wait until the earthquake is over because everyone's been talking about that Nankai mega quake. Maybe I'll wait for the mega quake to be over, then buy some property in Miyazaki. I don't know. But I would love to. I love Miyazaki. With that said, I hope it never occurs, and I love Miyazaki because the people, the food. I love Kagoshi. I love Kyushu, Oita. It's such a wonderful place. I made a lot of good friends in Nagasaki when I made the episode on the atomic bombing there. Fukuoka is a wonderful city. It's great people. And last but not least, WRX Turbo is in the house on the brand new iPhone 17 Pro. Thank you, WRX Turbo. It's great to see you here. All right, guys, I gotta go. There you go. I like, you can see the texture. Here's the main lens. It really does a good job. Good dynamic range. Good. It picks up the shadows and the highlights a little bit better. The grime, the graffiti, the reflections. All looks good to me. Don't pre-order your phone in Japan. Wait 2 weeks or pick it up at the store and have fun. See you tomorrow. Another live stream. Mata ne.